Are these exciting or what? You know, one thing that we learned going through the process was that we're not going to invest in ideas, but we're going to invest in leaders. These are leaders. Along those lines, let me introduce the next two, Renod and Renod Bejjani. Would you please come up and share with us iHope?
Did you know that 98% of Christians don't share Jesus with Muslims? Well, let me tell you why that scares me. Islam is growing here, while Christianity is declining. Islam is the only major religion projected to increase faster than the world's population. In our children and our grandchildren's lifetimes, Muslims are expected to outnumber Christians. Did you know that you could be part of the solution? My husband, Renod, and I founded iHope Ministries to inspire and empower you to be part of that solution, because it's going to take every Christian actively involved to reverse these trends.
I was raised as a Christian among Muslims in Islamic countries. Christians that live in Islamic majority nations and Islamic ruled nations live in fear and without freedom. For me, it was worse than that. I was kidnapped, persecuted, tortured by Muslim extremists for being a Christian. I grew to hate Muslims. I was full of anger, fear, and hate toward Muslims. I was literally at war with Muslims when I fled and came to the U.S. at age 13. I walked away from the Lord. And so for me, I didn't have to imagine what it would be like for our children or grandchildren to live in a Muslim majority area. I lived it as a child. And did you know that after God transformed me, what happened is I found myself, especially in 2010 when we founded iHope Ministries, I found myself serving the God I once denied as an instrument of His transforming love with the very people I once hated. And so, but the thing is the Middle East and North Africa, where I grew up, was predominantly Christian by 600 AD. But when Islam was born, Islam spread and Christianity declined. Today, that part of the world is 98% Muslim. The thing is that the root problem is that less than 2% of Christians share the gospel with Muslims. So how can they believe if they haven't heard? As we've heard from other speakers before. Now, the thing is that every Christian can be part of the solution. But the thing is that what happened in the Middle East and North Africa is happening in Christianized nations.
Well, I was certainly part of the problem. I feared Muslims. When I saw a woman in a hijab step into an elevator, I would just step back out. I thought that sharing Jesus with Muslims was something that pastors or missionaries did overseas. It never occurred to me that me, a small-town girl from the Midwest, could befriend and share the love of Jesus with a Muslim.
iHope was founded to inspire and empower you to be part of the solution, because it will take every Christian to actively do their part. Let me share a story with you that illustrates what that looks like. Jason is a business executive, and he was, like most Christians, he was a little bit afraid of Muslims, so he never shared the gospel with any of them. One day, Jason was reading from 2 Corinthians 5, verses 18 through 20. He was reading that God gave us the ministry of reconciliation, entrusting to us the message of reconciliation. Therefore, we are ambassadors for Christ, God making His appeal through us. Jason realized his responsibility as an ambassador for Christ. And he realized that he needed to model that for his family. But again, he was a little bit afraid, and he thought, well, I don't know much about Islam, the Quran, or the culture, etc. So he decided to go ahead and get equipped. So he started reading books and attending workshops and seminars, but he found the material academic, confusing, and he didn't know how to apply it.
Well, it was rocket science, because most books and seminars on this topic tend to be well suited for church planting or long-term mission work in non-westernized nations. But what we've observed is these methods tend to overwhelm and shut down, frankly, Christians from sharing the gospel with Muslims here in westernized nations. In 2012, Jason attended his very first iHope workshop. And afterwards, he shared that he was more inspired and empowered by that workshop content than in all the other books, seminars, and workshops he'd had before combined. Like other iHope alumni, Jason realized he didn't need to know all of that stuff. Through the iHope workshops, he learned the simple essentials that he really needed.
Since 2012, Jason has implemented what iHope taught him with over 100 Muslims, and 12 of them so far have accepted Christ as Lord and Savior. One is Muhammad, a refugee that came from an Islamic country. One day at a Mediterranean restaurant, Jason approached him, inquiring about the delicious-looking dish, and by the way, it's the best food, the delicious-looking dish that he was eating, and Muhammad recommended one, and a friendship was born. Jason started implementing what he learned with iHope with Muhammad. He allowed the love of Christ to flow through him to Muhammad, and eventually Muhammad accepted Jesus as Lord and Savior and was baptized. Then Muhammad came to iHope workshops, and now he is in full-time ministry. Having been raised under oppressive Islamic rule, he wanted to be part of the solution. He wanted to help transform the world to make it a better future for his family, his relatives.
To date, iHope has empowered and inspired over 7,500 Christians who have shared the gospel with over 18,000 Muslims, of which 1,400 have come to know Jesus as their Lord and Savior. Over the next 5 years, the plan is to reach 75,000 Christians. And based on previous results, that would reach 180,000 Muslims, resulting in 14,000 believers. To achieve that, in addition to our live workshops, we're adding new media channels like blogs, podcasts, and training videos in order to give quick, bite-sized samples of the content that's been so impactful, making it easier for everyone to get involved in reversing these trends.
And in 2019, we'll also be publishing 2 books. The first covers the 5 essentials every Christian must know and do with Muslims. The second is a Bible study book that is tailored for Muslim seekers. I've personally done these Bible studies with over 1,200 Muslims, and nearly 550 of them have accepted Christ so far. This book will be a unique and effective and proven tool in this field.
So with resources like this, we make it simple for you to get involved and share Jesus with Muslims. We'd love for you, if this is tugging at your heart, for you to fill out page 35 of your workbook. There is our feedback form. When you fill that out and turn that in the table in the back, that will get you the best of our blogs and upcoming podcasts and training videos. That'll give you a quick flavor that will empower you to share Jesus with Muslims. Also, you can join our book launch team to get a sneak peek of Renod's upcoming books as well. Next, share these resources with people within your organizations, churches, and people within your networks, and invite us to share this workshop content with those organizations as well. And then finally, would you consider partnering with us with your time, your talents, and your treasures?
And the simplest next step is to get together with us for a cup of coffee and find out what your role might be. So connect with us, schedule an appointment, and we'll take it from there, because it will take every Christian to be actively involved. It'll take you to be actively involved in order to reverse these alarming trends and make it a brighter future for the next generation. Thank you.
Very good presentation. Thank you very much. No wonder you're a finalist. Hey, can you kind of, as you look into going into the next year, 2019, you had some goals up there, and then you had some long-term goals. What do you think is like one of the biggest obstacles you're facing today that maybe Barnabas Group members can help, besides the money?
Yes, actually having people involved that will guide us and connect with us. So I would say board members first of all, advisory council members second of all, and then people who might know their way around helping us with get our video training going, perhaps some of their talents and so on. So human resources would be the biggest thing.
Good answer. Renod and Karen, there are other ministries that target Muslims. What makes your ministry unique?
We target Christians who, in order to target Muslims, because I can reach, perhaps, I can say I've reached 1,200 Muslims, but we've reached 100 or 18,000. I couldn't do that. The reason we do that is because it does take everybody to get involved. And that's why our goal is 75,000. We believe it's achievable, but exponential growth calculators, for those who might know what that is, say we can actually reach 5 million Christians the next 5 years.
Let's hear it for Renod and Karen.